The gymnasium shimmered under strings of fairy lights, and the bass of the music thumped like a heartbeat through the floor. Laughter echoed in waves. For most students, prom night was the fairy tale ending to high school. But for Jasmine Turner, it felt more like the beginning of a nightmare. She stepped through the gym doors alone, her back straight, her heart hammering like a drum beneath her chest. The moment she entered, heads turned. Whispers trailed her like shadows. There she is. Why is she even here? She actually thinks she belongs? Jasmine didn't flinch. She was used to the stares. Used to being the outsider. Being the new black girl at an all-white school in a small, conservative town wasn't just uncomfortable, it was isolating. But tonight, she'd decided she wasn't going to hide. Her mother had worked a double shift just to buy her the blue satin dress she wore. It wasn't designer, but it was beautiful. And Jasmine wanted to feel beautiful. Just for one night. She walked slowly across the gym, eyes scanning for a familiar face, anyone she might call a friend. There weren't many. Most people avoided her, not because she had done anything wrong, but because she was different, and in a school like this, different was dangerous. At the punch table, she tried to blend in, to disappear into the crowd. But it wasn't long before they found her. Lexi Monroe, prom queen nominee and self-proclaimed ruler of the school, strutted over with her two loyal shadows trailing behind her like perfume. Her red gown sparkled under the lights, but her smile was laced with venom. "Oh no," Lexi gasped dramatically, holding up her phone. "Did you all see this girl's dress? My grandma had those same curtains." The girls around her snickered. Jasmine stayed quiet. Lexi stepped closer, eyes narrowing. "Tell me something, Jasmine. Did you come just to give us something to laugh at?" Before Jasmine could respond, Lexi's friend accidentally bumped into her, sloshing a full cup of red punch down the front of Jasmine's dress. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," she said with mock innocence. "It's just so dark in here. I didn't see you." Laughter. Snickers. Camera phones clicking. Jasmine looked down at the red stain blooming across the satin like a wound. Her fists clenched instinctively, the boxer in her itching to rise. But she closed her eyes, took a breath, and let the anger fall away. Not tonight. Not here. She looked Lexi in the eyes, not with rage, but with unshaken calm. "You done?" Lexi blinked, caught off guard by the steadiness in Jasmine's voice. Without another word, Jasmine turned and walked away, not in shame, but with quiet power. The same kind of power that came from years of discipline, of learning when to strike, and when to walk away. And as the crowd laughed behind her, Jasmine made a silent promise to herself. Jasmine had retreated to a quiet corner near the exit, holding a napkin against the drying punch stain on her dress. Her heart still pounded, but not from fear, from restraint. It would have taken one word, one spark, for her to explode. But she didn't come to fight. Not tonight. She watched the glittering crowd from the sidelines. The DJ played a slow song, and couples took the floor in perfect, glossy harmony, twirling, laughing, unaware of or indifferent to her presence. She should have left. But something in her told her to stay. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was hope that someone might see her as more than a target. That's when Ethan, one of the football players, approached her. "Hey," he said, smiling awkwardly. "Wanna dance?" Jasmine blinked. "Are you serious?" "Yeah. Why not? You're already here." For a moment, something inside her softened. Maybe not everyone here was cruel. Maybe this was the moment she'd finally blend in, even if just for one dance. She took his hand. As they walked toward the center of the dance floor, Jasmine felt eyes on her. The music shifted to an upbeat tempo. Other players joined them, surrounding her like a welcoming circle. She smiled, until she noticed Lexi grinning from across the room. Something was wrong. Before she could react, a sudden crash of cold, sticky liquid hit her from above. A bucket of glitter and soda rained down, soaking her hair, her skin, and her already ruined dress. Her eyes stung. Her body froze. The crowd erupted into laughter. And then, as if that weren't enough, another guy placed a cheap plastic tiara on her head. Taped across it in black marker were 2 words. Trash Queen. Phones came out like weapons. Flashes blinded her. Videos were being recorded. Someone yelled, "Smile for TikTok, Jasmine." She stood in the middle of it all, glitter falling like snow, soda dripping from her shoulders, the center of a cruel joke. A teacher glanced her way, and turned around. No one stepped in. No one said a word in her defense. And still, Jasmine didn't cry. She didn't scream or run or beg them to stop. Instead, she slowly removed the tiara, wiped the glitter from her eyes, and looked around the room. Everyone expected her to break. She didn't. She walked out of the circle, drenched, sparkling like some broken doll, but with her head held high. As she passed Lexi, she leaned in slightly and said, calm and clear, "See you Monday." Lexi's smile faltered. Just for a moment. And Jasmine walked away, not with shame, but with a quiet fire burning in her chest. They thought they had humiliated her. By the time Jasmine walked into the school hallway, the air was already buzzing, not with laughter this time, but with confusion, disbelief, and curiosity. Clusters of students huddled together, whispering urgently, scrolling on their phones, their expressions shifting between shock and awe. And every single head turned when she walked in. Jasmine wore no makeup. Her hair was pulled back in a tight braid. She wore a plain hoodie, gym shoes, and the same quiet confidence she always carried. But this time, people looked at her differently. Something had changed. By third period, everyone had seen the video. It had started with a few clips posted by a small local sports channel, then exploded on TikTok and Instagram. Someone from the state youth boxing tournament had captured every second of the championship bout that took place over the weekend, the day after prom. In the video, Jasmine stood inside a ring, clad in black and gold, eyes laser-focused. Her opponent was taller, heavier, undefeated. But none of that mattered. Jasmine danced around her like a storm, fast, brutal, and graceful. In the final round, she ducked a right hook and responded with a devastating uppercut that knocked the girl flat on her back. The announcer screamed. And that's it. Jasmine Turner remains the undefeated state champion for the 3rd year in a row. The comments under the video were explosive. She's a boxer? Why didn't she fight back at prom? Respect. Pure respect. This girl could have taken them all down. Some kids looked at her now with admiration. Others with shame. Lexi wasn't smiling. She stood frozen at her locker, staring at her phone, replaying the video in disbelief. Jasmine passed her slowly. This time, no one tried to trip her. No one dared. Lexi tried to speak, tried to regain control. So what? You're some kind of fighter now, she said, forcing a weak laugh. Jasmine stopped. Turned. Looked her in the eye. No, Lexi. I've always been a fighter. You just never saw it. Lexi scoffed. Then why didn't you hit me back? Why didn't you fight at prom? Jasmine leaned in slightly, calm and composed. Because strength isn't just about fists. I had nothing to prove to people who were never strong enough to be kind. Lexi didn't have a comeback. As Jasmine walked away, the hallway parted like the Red Sea. People didn't move out of fear. They moved out of respect. And for the first time since she arrived at this school, Jasmine Turner wasn't invisible. She wasn't mocked. She was seen for who she truly was. Not the new girl. Not the punchline. But a champion. A week after prom, a flyer appeared on the school's bulletin board, the library door, and every hallway locker. Empower her, free self-defense class, all girls welcome. Hosted by Jasmine Turner. Saturday, 11 a.m., Westside Community Center Gym. At first, students thought it was a joke. Another setup, maybe. But it wasn't. Saturday morning arrived, and Jasmine stood alone in the gym, stretching her arms, warming up her wrists. She had taped punching pads to the wall and set up yoga mats on the floor. Her old coach, Mr. Rami, stood in the corner with folded arms, just observing. Quietly proud. To her surprise, girls began trickling in. First, 2. Then 4. Then nearly 20. Some were the very girls who had laughed at her at prom. A few kept their eyes low, nervous, unsure if they'd even be welcome. Jasmine welcomed them all. No lectures. No drama. Just movement. Today isn't about learning to fight, she said, her voice calm and warm. It's about learning to stand. To breathe. To know your strength, even when the world wants you to forget it. She demonstrated how to block, how to ground your stance, how to use your voice to say no and mean it. They trained. They laughed. They sweated together. And with each passing hour, the invisible walls between them began to fall. Then, in the back of the room, Lexi appeared. She didn't wear designer makeup. No heels. Just jeans and an old sweatshirt. Jasmine saw her but didn't pause the session. She didn't need to. Lexi sat silently, watching the moves, the sisterhood, the shift in energy. Eventually, she stepped forward, slowly. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said aloud. I was cruel because, honestly, I didn't know who I was without being the one in control. The gym went quiet. I thought tearing people down made me powerful. But watching you, the way you rose after everything, I realized I've never even been strong enough to look in the mirror. Jasmine looked at her. Not with anger, but with something deeper. Compassion. It takes more strength to say sorry than it does to throw a punch, she said softly. Lexi blinked, eyes glassy. And in a moment that stunned everyone, Jasmine extended a glove toward her. Want to learn how to throw a real one? Lexi nodded. That image, Jasmine holding pads while Lexi practiced jabs, was captured by Mr. Rami and posted online. It went viral. Again. But this time, not for revenge or violence. This time, for grace. Jasmine didn't just win a fight. She started a movement. Not with her fists. But with her heart.